Yeah, Jason Wygant here from RacerX. Well, we gave Daniel Blair and his Main Event Moto podcast all summer to screw up being a part of the RacerX podcast network, and maybe they did. I just never listened to the show. I mean, I don't know why you are. But either way, we didn't get any email complaints, probably because no one emails anymore. So we're going to keep the show as part of the RacerX podcast network. But first, a word from some sponsors. Air Medcare Network. What if you're hospitalized with an injury far from home? You'd want to recover close to family and friends, and with an Air Medcare Network Fly You Home membership, you'll have control of where you're treated. You'll be transported to your local hospital of choice with no out-of-pocket cost, and you can now save $10 with the offer code 10MOTO. That's 10MOTO. Visit airmedcarenetwork.com/RacerX offer 1. That's the number 1 to get that $10 off your membership. Essentially, it allows you, if you get injured at a race and you're not close to home, you can get flown back to where you live so you can work out of a hospital that's local, which is a lot more convenient for family and friends. Also by Maxxis Tires. You already know that Maxxis delivers the best tires for your bike, but did you know that Maxxis also offers high-quality tires for your car, light truck, trailer, ATV, mountain bike, and much, much more? Maxxis Tires will let you hook up, pull the whole shot, and beat your competition in any terrain or conditions. Just ask the king, Jeremy McGrath. To learn more, go to Maxxis, MAXXIS.com. And this podcast is sponsored by ETS Racing Fuels. With unmatched consistency and performance, ETS powers some of the most winning teams in motocross and supercross. You already know the riders and the team, but you probably don't know the fuel. Why? Because champions don't give away their secrets. But now with ETS's new online ordering system, you can have ETS Racing Fuel delivered right to your door, your shop, or the racetrack. So it's easier than ever to get ETS's championship-winning performance in your tank, whether you're racing 2 strokes or 4 strokes, 2 wheels or 4 wheels. Go to ETSRacingFuels.com and you will have your own winning secret to keep. ETS Racing Fuels, the most winning fuel you've never heard of. And now, on with the show.
Thanks for listening to Main Event Moto.
Skivvy Underwear, SKVI.com.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Ah, yeah, this is nice. Snuck out here to the public pool at night with the wood grain.
Team Skivvy, baby.
What was that?
Team Skivvy, baby.
What's up, Scummy? Founder of Skivvy Underwear, right?
Team Skivvy, baby.
Yeah, Team Skivvy.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Team Skivvy. Skivvy Underwear, I get it.
Team
you don't
Skivvy,
have to
baby.
keep saying
Skivvy,
it.
baby.
Dude, you're so... Man, just get off me. Let me go.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Yeah, Scummy, you don't have to try to drown
Team
me.
Skivvy, baby.
Yeah, I get it. Team Skivvy.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Okay, all right. I'm going to get some Skivvy Underwear.
You're listening to the Main Event Moto podcast, powered by Nature's Bakery.
The 2000 Daytona Supercross is on in the Batcave on ESPN2. Ricky Carmichael was just blitzing a Dragon's back on his KX250, Joe.
Look at that.
No, this is older. This is like some flashbacks.
1987.
That's Ricky Johnson. No visor.
Oh.
That's Rick Ryan, who ended up winning NorCal guy, Joe. Privateer, the only privateer to ever win, I think, right? Or did someone else do it recently in the mud? I should know that, but I forgot. This is episode 142 of the Main Event Moto podcast. Huge shout out to Nature's Bakery, Fly Racing, Skivvy Underwear, Mika Metal, Scott USA, No Toil, Honda Cowie, KTM of Modesto, Guts Racing, EMT Racing, Key Bar, Rep Racing, and Motosport.com. Joe, how we doing today?
So good.
Why'd you choose Daytona 2000? Where'd this come from?
I don't know why. Just Supercross 2000, and then the first one popped in my head was Daytona, so that's what we went with.
This is daytime Daytona. You like that?
Yeah.
It's been a while since they've done that, but a daytime race, track was way gnarlier back then. It's become more Supercrossy over the years.
It's going to the music right now too.
It is. RC is just doubling to this gnarly rhythm section right to the beat. Joe, it's going to be a good show. Do you know what we're talking about today?
I saw some people tagged me in some Instagram stuff, so I saw the question, but I didn't know if that was the entire topic for the show.
It is. We're getting ready for 2020, and I'm excited. And I believe, again, I've said this before, I'll say it again, Supercross is reality TV. It's the best reality TV there is. 17 weeks, 17 chapters in the story. And what makes a good story, Joe, is good characters. And I think coming into the season, we've got a bunch of them. We've talked about it over the past few weeks, ways to grow the sport, ways for riders to break into the mainstream. It all comes down to, at the beginning, the what's needed more than anything is good racing, good storylines, good battles, and a little bit of drama. Kind of want to play into that today, if that's okay with you.
Hell yeah, brother.
Okay, good. Because if you said no, I really would not know where to go with the show, because that's all I got.
Nah, not really. Let's talk 2000 Daytona.
All right, here's McGrath. I want to go through his head right here. He's like, man, I'm the man. I've been done. You good?
Yeah.
All right. Allergies? Cold? What you got?
Just a little sneeze.
Little sniffle? For McGrath, though, dominating all those years, and then RC comes in and just disrupts everything. And you got the early signs of it mostly at the Daytona Supercrosses. Ricky was just, he was a Florida guy and rode conditions like that and was always just physically stronger and gnarlier than everybody. So this was kind of like a wake-up call, like the calm before the storm, I guess you would say, for the king. Yeah, good choice. But yeah, it's going to be a good show. We're going to talk about Adam Cianciarulo and Cooper Webb. Joe, let's kick things off with a clip from the Vegas Supercross from last year. This is the press conference following the Vegas Supercross where Cooper Webb won a championship. Adam Cianciarulo, we all know, didn't. And this is a spicy, cool question by Darkside. I'll give him his props. And a spicy answer from Cooper Webb, which kind of triggers everything that this show tonight will be about. Here we go.
All right, Cooper. So you're sitting on the line, you're watching the 250 class, and unfortunately we see what happens to Adam. In the heat race, you and Eli were going at it. You were really aggressive. Like, you wanted to win that race. It was very clear. So you're sitting on the line, you see what happens to AC. Do you think maybe I don't need to be so aggressive in this main event? Just let's settle in and not worry about where I finish?
No. He cracked. I didn't.
Fair enough.
If you're listening really closely and that you can hear you go, oh.
Is that me? Yeah. Probably was.
I know.
I was shocked.
I know your tones and your inflections.
So
and
that was me?
You can pick that out of a crowd any day of the week. You said, oh.
And that was the noise that you make when you're a little caught off guard, mixed with, like, yes, I can't wait for this to hopefully transpire into something, because you guys know I'm a drama queen, and that's what I want. These guys.
It seemed like the whole room was caught off guard.
They all, well,
it was like
there was silence, laughter, and then
couple chuckles.
Yeah,
and some uncomfortable.
You know what the best part of the whole thing was? Go back and watch the video. His face, dude. He don't crack when he says it at all.
No,
that was just straight Smith & Wesson. And I'm a firm believer that over the next 5 years, these two are going to be two of the favorites. There's going to be others, obviously. I don't think we're going to ever go back to a time when there's just two guys, even three. I think we're going to see 4, 5, and 6 favorites over the next run. I think that's what the class looks like. So these two, without question, are going to be racing from here on out. They've been apart for a while, and even when they were racing the 250 class, in fact, I should have looked at this. It would have been a lot, better of me to do that. But I don't know when the last time these two have even really gone at each other in the whole series. Even, I guess, outdoor. I don't even know. AC's been hurt so much. Cooper's been in the 450 class for a few years now, so it's safe to say that they don't really know each other on the track in the last half a decade. But I wanted to go back to the beginning because there's this unspoken rivalry between the two. They both kind of downplay it, and I think that's probably fair because the truth is they haven't raced each other in a long time. As adults, barely. But when they were kids, without question, they raced each other a lot, coming up to the amateur ranks. So what I wanted to do in this show is go back to the beginning and give you a little bit of a timeline so you guys have a better understanding of these two, and it'll make things make a little bit more sense, I think. Then we'll do listener questions at the end of the show. Listener questions this week, I pretty much just asked who you got in 2020 between those two and got some pretty good answers on it. And then I'll give you a little bit of a preview for next week's show because what I'm doing this week is the same theme will go next week with a different group of riders, though. A little bit different generation, the Tomac age group. And we'll kind of break down that one. So you ready to go, Joe?
Let's do it.
All right, so check it out. I went on Racer X's Vault. They have a Vault for pro racing. Obviously, I think a lot of you have heard about it. They have the Vault for Loretta Lynn's, and you can take any rider that has raced Loretta Lynn's and find their name, and it'll give you their results. Every Loretta Lynn's they've ever done, and it'll tell you what they got in each moto, what they got in their overall, and it does. You could do it in a lot of different ways. You could do it by year, you could do it by rider, you could do it by class, you could do a lot of things. But I went back and printed out Adam Cianciarulo's amateur career, Joe, all on one page. You see this page?
Yeah.
See all these notes?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can't see. The table's pretty far from you to me, but there's a lot of number ones on here. You know why?
Because he won a lot.
11 Loretta Lynn's titles.
Ooh.
That's a lot. Ryan Villapoto, go check his out, and you will be beyond blown away when you look at Ryan Villapoto's Loretta Lynn stats, and then you look at Adam Cianciarulo's, who just won his first championship at the age of 22. Now you understand why everyone's had high hopes. The dude won, like, in ridiculous fashion his entire career, or his entire child career, which we'll call it. But I went and broke it down, moto by moto, him versus Webb, to take a real look at where they really did match up. And the first thing y'all need to know, which I felt like I knew, but I didn't know this detailed, they are exactly 1 year apart. Both were born in October, but Cooper Webb is 1 year older than Adam, which I knew that he was older. I didn't know it was by that much, because what you'll see, Joe, is that they end up in the same class a lot, but then there's years when they don't, where Cooper will be in the older class, Adam will be in the younger class, just because it's by age. Does that make sense? And I know some of you out there are probably like, come on, Daniel, get to... But I want to really break this down and make it thoroughly understandable by all, and I know a lot of people out there don't know this stuff, so I want to make it easy to understand. So, Joe, I want you to... if there's anything along the way, too, that you have a question on, stop me, okay? I did a lot of homework on this. Really proud of myself, actually. All right, so Adam started out 5-year-old, racing in the 4 to 650 class. Got 17th as a 5-year-old. Pretty good.
What a loser.
You know what's funny is, in terms, nowadays, there are 5-year-olds that are in the top 3 or winning. Ryder DeFrancesco won the 50 class when he was 5 and 6. So when he went as a 6-year-old, he actually was defending his 5-year-old championship. There's a little kid from around here in Northern California who's a 5-year-old. His name's Jaden Smart. He got 2nd this year, and he's 5. Ryder Ellis, a kid that's in Evan's age. He, I think, as a 5-year-old, I think did really good too. I can't remember, but anyway. So for Adam, a 17th wasn't, it wasn't a spectacular start. But then as a 6-year-old, he got 2nd. No Cooper Webb yet. They didn't race until the next year. So Adam is 7, Webb is 8, and they're in the 7 to 960 class. Okay, so you can be 7, 8, or 9. Remember, Adam is 7, so he's as young as you can be in that class. Kids 2 years older than him, 9-year-olds, and then Webb, of course, 1 year older. Cianciarulo gets 23rd, Webb gets 36th.
Ooh.
Looks like a couple complete failures, if you ask me. No chance, right?
Absolute failures.
No, complete losers. No chance.
Yep.
Well, it turns around, but here's a little side note. That year, in that 65 class, Colt Nichols got 8th, Justin Hill got 9th. So there's some names that you can kind of keep in mind as we talk about this. These are some guys in that age group. They're all kind of in there together, somewhat. So the next year, in the 50 class, Webb is now aged out. Adam is able to race. So he is in the 50 7 to 8-year-old class, which means he's at his oldest, and he gets his first championship. So take it back to a 50cc, Joe, and that's where Cianciarulo gets his first title. And remember, Webb's not in there yet, or in that class. He's already aged out. He's 65 full-time. The next year, they meet up again. Adam's 8, Cooper's 9. Adam gets 15th overall. Remember, he's still a little young. Maybe the 65's not taken so well yet. This is back-to-back years where the 65 class results aren't really there. His moto scores, though, are 40, 11-3. So it looks like starting to figure it out there at the very end, okay? Gets a third. Webb, remember, he's a 9-year-old now in the 7-9 65 class, so this is his year. This is his good year. He gets 9th overall, so he beats Adam. His moto scores? 1-34-1.
Jeez.
So I'm not sure what happened. I did my homework, Joe, but I'm not going to call his dad and find out what the hell happened back in 05 in the second moto. So I don't know what happened, but it's safe to say he was maybe the best guy. He won 2 of the 3 motos and then screwed one up.
His dad would be like, honey, call the cops.
There's some creepy bastards that have a podcast that are looking up Cooper's race results when he was a kid. Anyway, so that's the first time, actually the second time that they've raced now. So Adam's got one, Cooper's got one. But obviously it's, nothing too serious until the next year. This is when it gets good. So this is 2006. Adam is 9 years old in the 7-11 class. Okay, so he's 2 years early in this class. He's got 2 more years that he could ride in it.
Mm-hmm.
Webb is 10 in the 10-11 class. So they're both young. Neither one of these guys should be winning this, right? I mean, you would think at that age, like every year matters big time. The 11-year-old should have it. The 10 and 9-year-old shouldn't. Well, Webb wins the title. So he wins the 65 class, and Cianciarulo gets second. So there you go, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Now again, Adam is 2 years young on a 65. He's 9 going against 11-year-olds and gets second only to Webb. But here's a kicker. Webb beat him every moto. So he didn't sweep it, but Webb beat him all 3 motos. The next year, Adam stays in the 7-9 65 class. That same year, he won the 65 7-9 class. So he won his age group and then got second in the old class. All right, so now we go to 85s. This is 2007. Adam is 10, Cooper's 11. Adam wins both 85 classes.
Damn.
Webb gets I'm not sure what he got in the one class. He went 4-3 DNF. In the other class, he went 3-2-1. So, same year, raced both classes together, both on 85s. AC gets the better of him in both classes. So if you're Webb right there, are you probably a little frustrated that a kid younger than you that's obviously getting the hype, he's already won, let's see now, 1, 2, this would be his 3rd and 4th title, year younger. And back then, I mean, think about it when you're a kid. Think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what is... Let's see.
As a kid.
They're in 5th and 6th grade. If you're a 6th grader and a 5th grader beats you in both classes.
That's a huge deal.
Are you bent?
Yeah, definitely.
And then, I mean, I'm sure the parents aren't pumped.
That's like when you're like, I'm 11 and a half. You know what I mean?
Dad.
Like, you're like, yeah, age is a big deal.
It is. And then that's what's funny is, I mean, obviously these two are extraordinary. You could see by just the results they had, they were always good a year early. But if you're Webb and you're like the man, and then the one guy who beats you in both classes is someone younger than you, who also is at this time starting to get that, amateur love. Everybody started kind of pegging him as like something real special. You could see a little bit of the early animosity forming in the pre-pubescent years. And then here's the cool part. They don't race again until 2010. All right? So 8, no racing. 9, no racing. 10, they race again. 2 years off. Now, and before y'all DM me and start writing in that these guys were racing each other at other races, I know. I don't care. Cianciarulo's in Florida. Webb's in the Carolinas. I'm sure they race multiple times at other races. I only have Loretta's. It's the only one that's actually trackable, okay? So maybe other stuff was going along at the other amateur nationals that we don't know about, but this is the big the big one.
All right, gotcha. So
for 2 years, they don't race each other again. In that 2-year span, Cianciarulo wins 3 of 4 championships. All right, so he's up to what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 titles.
Did Webby win the other one, or is that just some other person?
He won a couple too.
Okay.
In fact, I'll stop right there and give you the total rundown. Cianciarulo won 11 championships in his entire amateur career at Loretta's. Webb has won 4. So quite a difference, but here's the big kicker. They've actually only raced each other 8 times in all these years, just because of their ages matching up. AC beat Webb 4 times, and then Cooper got him back 4 times.
Interesting.
So it's equal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Cooper snuck 2 of them in early when they were like 50s and when they were on 65s,
right.
you know what I mean? But they get older, it gets juicy. All right. So now we're on to 2010. They're in the Super Mini class. Adam is 13, Cooper's 14, both in the Super Mini. And Webb wins one title and gets second in the other. Cianciarulo gets a 40th in one class and a 28th in the other. He goes 8 DNF, DNS in one. DNSs did not start. And then the other class, he went 2nd, 5th DNS. So an injury must have happened. Bike troubles maybe along the way. You see the DNF in Moto 2. I'm assuming something happened there that took him out the entire weekend. But at the same time, Webb won one class and got second in the other. And here's something pretty cool for you. The class he got second in, Jace Owen won that championship. And you know who Owen is, right? He's the arena cross guy. He's raced for arena cross the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Won all the kicker races last year. So in the Super Mini class in 2010, Webb gets first in one class, second in the other. Jace Owen beats him in the other one, which is pretty cool. It's when you look back. I'm telling you guys, if you haven't done it, look up, just Google search Racer X Vault Loretta Lynn's and go back, and you can spend hours on there, and it's crazy. Again, next week when we get into Tomac, Anderson, Barsha, Baggett, and Malcolm Stewart, who are all the same age, you'll be blown away. Just that those 5 have been battling and dealing with each other since they were little kids, and now they are at the top of the sport. I think it's awesome. Anyway, so the next year, we go back in 2011. They're both back in the Super Mini class, and Webb is actually only in one of the Super Mini classes. He gets a Honda deal, and I think he's only allowed to ride one of them, which is confusing. I don't know exactly what happened here, but he gets third. Adam wins. Adam goes 1-3-1. Webb goes 5-2-3. So Adam gets the better of him for the last time, and that was the last time they would race at Loretta Lynn's in 2011 when they were 14 and 15.
Jeez.
And now we're going into Supercross where they're 23 and 24, and you got little juicy comments like that, and a lot of people, like myself, who are kind of spicing this thing up because there's relevant backstory, and it's cool, right? If you're looking at a big game, an NFL game, and 2 players have a history, or a basketball game and 2 players have a history, or Supercross, and guys have a history, especially where in the final round last year, one of them won his first 450 Supercross championship, and the other one crashed out of his first 250 championship, especially when that one is the 11-time amateur champ who has been seen by many as the golden boy coming in. You can see why there's a relevant story there, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about just what you learned between the two, knowing that, again, this sport starts at 5? It's not like football and basketball either, where these kids will play at in their local area, and then they don't see each other until maybe Division I college, or maybe in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. They know each other they're like little kids, dude. Like little 5, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds. And it starts there. They know each other. They're from other states. They go home. They think about that guy. They come back the next year and get revenge. What do you think about that, knowing that these 2 guys who are favorites next year, in my opinion, have a history that goes back all the way to 2004 when they were 7 and 8?
I think it's going to go one of 2 ways with that. You're either going to be competitive buddies because you've known each other since you were 5 years old, and so you're going to compete, but you're also going to be bros, or it's going to be a deep wedge ingrained in you rivalry from the time we were 5. Hated this guy,
right? And again, they haven't raced in their pro careers barely at all. I mean, I have to go back and see, but I can't remember anything relevant between the 2.
So to be honest, I might actually take the opinion that maybe there isn't really as much of a rivalry there, and us, the fans.
So Cooper's. Why do you say?
I mean, he cracked. I didn't. It is what it is. I would. If I was AC, it would fuel me for sure. He cracked. I would want to use that as fuel for the fire.
I would too. I mean, for sure, he would be the one on the receiving end.
I'll show you who's cracking biatch.
Yeah, I mean, think about it though. Again, that was Adam's most devastating night of his career. And Cooper, obviously, my guess is probably was like, look, I just won the title. Last thing I want to do is hear questions about that guy, who I have no problem with on the surface, but deep down, since I was 7 years old, I do have a problem with. There's no other reason to say that. There's no reason to say that. He could have very easily been like, I do my own thing, and what happened to him is just not relevant to my situation.
It's not his personality.
He could have said that, but he said he cracked. I didn't.
Yeah, took a little dig there.
So I can't help but absolutely get caught up in it. I feel like my wife right now watching Real Housewives of New Jersey. I just want drama. And in a good way. In a good way. I want a rivalry. Again, this goes back to the Carmichael, Stewart, Reed era. There was 3 of them. They all hated each other, and it made every Saturday night like, oh my God. I remember actually racing at that time when this is going on between those 3. And I was obviously focused on my own career, what I was doing, but I could not wait to get done with my main event in the 125 class, lean the bike up against multiple times I remember leaning the bike up against the wall, leaving the stadium, and running up into the stand so I could watch Carmichael, Stewart, and Reed. Mm-hmm. I specifically remember it happening, I think it was at Phoenix Supercross, and I don't remember the year. It might have been the year Stewart got hurt there. I think that was the year, but I leaned my bike up, and I remember the AMA official freaked out and moved the bike. I think I put it up against a tractor or something. I just leaned it up. I didn't have a mechanic, and I wanted to watch those guys because it wasn't just a race. There was more to it. There was these guys really didn't. Carmichael couldn't stand Reed. Reed comes over from Australia, younger than him, and just starts going at him immediately and almost the same way Cooper. Same mentality. People say Webb reminds people. They kind of remind each other of each other.
Mm-hmm. Reed and Webb.
Yeah, I had a hard time getting that out. That was bad. Hopefully, Racer X doesn't clip that and put that on their Instagram. Don't do that. But yeah, they remind each other. There I go again. Of each other. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. And then, of course, Carmichael couldn't stand Stewart. Literally, this young kid. It was a very similar thing. Carmichael was the man, but Stewart was too. And Stewart, from the time he was 8 years old, was talked about as, this kid does things on a dirt bike we've never seen. He was always that guy. I remember racing 85s or super minis, and he was a couple years younger than me in the 85 class, and same thing. We'd go to the fence line and watch Stewart. He was something different. So you can imagine Carmichael not wanting to hear that, and then finally he gets in the 450 class, and now Carmichael's got to deal with those two. Reed, obviously, and Stewart, they had their problems because they were both so aggressive. They ended up having problems that lasted all the way later after Carmichael was gone. But there was more to racing than just 3 guys racing, Like right now, Muscan, Tomac, Roxton, they're great talents, but there's nothing between the 3. There's nothing extra. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when there is a little extra, you just kind of want to know a little bit more. It's, again, like 2 NFL teams. It's just a football game, but you get 2 teams that don't like each other. Division rivals or, teams that have a history, there's extra fireworks because there's more to the story than just guys that want to race their dirt bikes.
For sure.
So again, that's what I wanted to cover, was go over their amateur career, get a better idea of, the results that they had to, put out while they were racing against each other all the way through it. And in those odd years, because again, they would separate in different years. Cooper got on a big bike a little bit earlier. Adam rode the Super Mini out a little bit longer. And again, in the pro career, not much, but it's coming. And I'm one. These 2 kids will be back at it. One's the defending champ, and one is, I'd say, the most highly anticipated rookie we've had in a long time. And it's going to be good. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to our listener questions and hear what everybody else had to say when I posed a question on who they got in 2020.
Main event moto.
Let's be real. Kids and adults like things that taste good. What if you had a food that tasted unreal and was healthy?
Dad, get me some Nature's Bakery.
What flavor, Evan?
Any, duh.
Seriously, my kid is a pain when it comes to track snacks, but since we started eating Nature's Bakery, it's gotten a lot easier.
But Dad, don't you always call Mom a track snack?
That's not what I mean, Evan. Make sure you eat Nature's Bakery when you're at the track. Convenience is everything to us in the Batcave, and that's why we rock a key bar and no toil filters. Trust producer Joe, you're sick of that jingle jangle in your pocket.
Yes, sir. Just go get a key bar, like your Bat Bros.
And if you're not using no toil filters, you probably still have a flip phone. They make one of the worst bike chores easy. Throw the filter in the wash machine with your ladies' panties, and they'll never be cleaner. Get with the program and get a key bar and switch to no toil. Pay attention, Motoheads. I'm a picky SOB, especially when it comes to products on my son's bike. That's why we run Mika bars, sprockets and chains, and a gut seat cover, and it's not even negotiable. Look, if you care about quality and performance on your bike, you'll be running Mika metals and gut seats and covers. And if you don't, you're a what, Evan?
A noob like Uncle Vincent.
Main Event Moto Podcast.
Ooh-wee. December 12th is the day. I looked it up, Joe. That is the last day you can buy Main Event Moto sweatshirt. They're on the website right now, maineventmoto.com. Go to the store. We got a zip-up. We've got the pullover hoodie, so you have an option. And I just want to thank you guys who have already purchased the sweatshirt. Again, these are pre-order only. So we will not be releasing them again. That's our thing. We come out with a shirt.
Limited edition.
Limited edition on everything. And again, I really appreciate everybody who's already purchased one. And you got a little bit of time left. Black Friday sale's coming up. And I think you all need to reward yourself. Get yourself a sweatshirt. Don't get it for a significant other. Buy yourself something for Christmas. Huh, Joe?
That's right.
What are you getting me for Christmas?
I can't say it on this show. I'll still save it for main show.
It's that bad, huh?
It's that bad.
God, all right. Let's get to our Scott Prospect listener questions. These, again, the question posed was Webb versus AC in 2020, kind of pushing off the theme of a childhood rivalry, and, of course, the comment that was at the last Supercross we were at. Don't forget, that was the last real Supercross. Monster Cup, of course, is a special one-off. But the last press conference at the last Supercross, Webb throws some shade, and as you said, AC's probably a little bit motivated to deal with that comment. So, want to know what you guys had to think and had to say, and here they are. Scott Prospect listener questions. Here we go.
Big James Burris. Shout out to James. He's a main show guy. AC9 puts Webb over a berm. What's up, boys? And then gives him the old Smith & Wesson.
I don't believe that anything fireworky is going to come right out of the get-go. Right? I mean, you think about a championship. These guys obviously want to win the championship. They're not focused on each other. I think that's a side thought. I don't think either one is coming out and looking for the other one and looking to get physical, especially that way. I don't see AC. I mean, maybe not. Maybe, hey, wouldn't that be the most gnarly boss rookie statement? You just come out and put the champ over a berm, and especially that guy. Could you imagine?
I would want to announce my presence with authority.
What would you do? Okay, let's be 100% clear. Skill-wise, talent-wise, bike-wise, program-wise, conditioning, every single piece of the puzzle, AC has it. The only thing he doesn't have is the experience in that class. That's the only thing he doesn't have, okay? Knowing that, coming in, knowing that you really don't have much weakness, what do you do when you come around? Do you just ease your way in? Do you just come in and I'm going to do my best, I'm going to just stay out of trouble? Or, Joe, do you come in and make noise? What would you do?
Absolutely. Come in and try to be as dominating as possible immediately.
Physical, too?
Yeah.
With everybody, with Anderson?
Yep.
With Muscan, with your teammate?
Yep. Get out of my way.
Partner, Kenny?
Yes. Yeah.
Cooper, of course?
Move.
So come right in and get physical. Put him over a berm.
Bitch. Get out the way.
Who sings that again?
Luda.
That's right. He's a poet. Really, I like him a lot.
He's a poet.
He's a poet.
And an incredible thespian. He's the greatest actor of our generation.
One of them, for sure. I don't think it'll be that way. I think AC will come in very solid, smooth, nothing flat. That's my thought. My thought is he comes in solid as a rock, and then after 6 rounds, you're like, man, he's there every week. I don't see fireworks that early. I could only wish. All right, next one.
Cody 975 Piscatelli.
Oh yeah, what are we doing for a gift card this week? How are we picking?
That's up to you, bro. I feel
what
like
do you want to do?
I feel like we'll know it when we see it.
Okay.
Cody says, for the love of dear Lord baby Jesus, or as our brothers in the South call you, Jesus, please let AC shut Cooper up and give him a big old slice of humble pie.
Wow. Not a Cooper fan, huh? What do you think about that? I know you like Webb, though.
I do like Webb. I'd like to see AC try to shut him up and give him some humble pie.
But
good luck.
Good luck. Do you think Webb isn't humble? Because I feel like he's a straight shooter, and I feel like he's definitely made some subject comments, but I've never really seen him as being cocky, like with him, like himself, like I'm the baddest. I don't feel like I've ever seen him or heard him be unhumble as much as he's made like little digs here and there. Do you see that, or am I off on that?
I think with Webb, it's one of those things where whatever you want to see, you're going to see. It's a bias indicator. If you like Webb,
you love it.
Then you don't see the things he does in a negative way. And if you don't like Webb, every little thing he says or does is braggadocious and too much and mean and rude or whatever.
So instead of actually taking the comment, judging the comment, you've already made judgment on the person, so then the comment's going to fall where you want it.
Take, for example, the one we keep talking about. He cracked, I didn't. Is he lying?
No.
There it is. Did he get beat by that French guy when he ain't going to let no Frenchie beat him?
No.
There it is.
But people don't like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people love it. Some people love it, and they go, dude, that's how you need to be. If you're like, you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. It's a bias exposer. Because if you don't like that, you're like, oh, he could have said it a different way. It doesn't have to be so rude about it. Obviously, that you're probably not a Cooper guy because you think that was uncalled for.
And if you're neutral, of course, then you've got to like it because it's something.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine. Okay, honestly, me being as PC as I am, that's not what I would have said. There's no way because I'm too PC. I would have said, yeah, his race was his race and my race my different circumstances, and I just had to do what I had to do, like as unbelievably in the middle as possible because that's just who I am.
Sure.
But for him to go out and say that is like, even if you don't like him, you gotta like that he said it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't hate on the guy for actually throwing spice. Like in fact, if you don't like him, you should really like that he said it, because then you get to not like him more.
I can see that line of thought. Yeah.
Think about it. If you don't like somebody,
that's like saying though that I love the Kansas City Chiefs because they beat the Raiders and it makes me hate the Chiefs more.
That's not different. If the Raiders beat the Chiefs, or if the Raiders, I don't know. That's not a fair comparison because it wasn't one-on-one. What I'm saying is, if you don't like somebody because you can't stand their attitude, sometimes when they say the spiciest things, you like it a little because it gives you a chance to hate. Hate. You know what I mean? Next one.
Florida Man 330. AC is a pistachio. Webb is a macadamia. Webb for the win.
What in the hell does that mean?
I don't know what that means. I like both of those. Those are nuts.
Let's try to figure out what he said. So that's...
AC is a pistachio. Florida Man 330.
There you go.
Maybe because pistachios are green? Webb is a macadamia. I don't know.
Let's just move on. I have no response for that one.
Stout underscore 15. AC will be the smoother, smarter rider. Coop will be the bulldog and try to give him a wheel or two. Get in his head. Either way, we have an epic season upon us, Motoheads. I think AC beats Coop in points this year.
So, defending champ. Okay, and I just want to put this out there because I'm not disagreeing with you. Again, I'm super high on AC this year. But at the same time, I'm high on Webb also. A year ago, no one gives him... I mean, dude, he wasn't even in the press conference, the opening round, the preseason press conference. He wasn't even there. I mean, nobody gave him a shot at all. Like, we didn't. And he wins the title. He's now back with the same team a year later, knows the program, knows the bike, has the formula on how to do it. He's already won a 250 Supercross title before and then backed it up in more dominating fashion the second time around, which shows that he knows how to defend. What is Webb's weakness really coming into this year? Is there a possibility that he does the exact same thing as last year and just whole shots the main, stays low in the berms, jumps the whoops, and wins more mains than anybody, wins the title as unbelievably efficient as you can imagine? Is there a possibility that just happens again? Like, why are we all hyping up? I mean, even me, I've already told you, I think Roxon wins it. I don't even know why yet. But I think do you have Anderson winning again? Is that I know a lot of other people are saying that again, but you know what I mean? Like, what has Webb done since Vegas that tells you he'll be worse than last year.
Right.
Anything stand out?
I think the difference is
lackluster outdoor, which, by the way, this summer was better than any other outdoor season he's had on the 450. So it's not like he went backwards.
I don't think outdoor is an indicator. I think it's more of everybody's back and healthy. And so this is going to be a stacked starting gate.
Anderson's, if the gate dropped tomorrow, Anderson's healthy. Eli Tomac had the back issue last year, so he came in a little weird. Roczen was only 2 years removed from his injury. He's now 3. Musquin's coming in a little bit weird. He definitely, I'd say, less prepared than in most years. So he's the only one that maybe went backwards a little. But is that what it is? Is that Eli's just, you assume Eli will be better? Anderson's back full strength. Roxon's going to be better. AC's going to be in there. Malcolm will be better. The assumption is everyone's going to be better.
Yeah.
So is that why? Because, last year, he got better as the season went on, as Eli got stronger, as Marvin got stronger, as Kenny got. It started at round 3 and then just pretty much took off like wildfire.
Sounds like you're leaning Coop now.
I'm not, but I'm just wondering why I'm not. I don't know why. Does Anderson leave a kind of a sour taste because his defense went so bad?
Mm-hmm.
So that makes you think Cooper's the same thing, same program. Maybe he's burnt out. Maybe the pressures and dealing with all the media and all the crap and having to hear about it nonstop and defense this and defense that and AC this and AC that. And is he just maybe get a little overwhelmed by the situation of being the defending champ? Is that what it is? Because Anderson kind of had that issue?
Could be.
Because, again, I haven't seen anything that really says he's going to be worse.
Right.
Which means they all have to be better than he was last year, let alone what he could be this year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to assume that a 23 turning 24-year-old will be better. He was pretty damn good last year. And for some reason, a lot of people are kind of thinking no. The same way they thought about Anderson. Not many people thought that he would be able to back it up, and a lot of them are right. Maybe they're right on this one too.
Ooh.
Next one.
Marco Pirello says Tomac Roczen for the title. Rookie jitters crack AC. Webb is a one-hit wonder. Hill buys a new guitar. Anderson, Osborne, Musquin become sworn enemies.
Oh my God! What?
Tomac Roczen for the title.
Okay, that's your standard guess. I would say most people, if you were to poll every fan,
I agree.
It's going to be one of those two.
Yeah,
and it makes sense. I'm not saying you're wrong at all.
And he says rookie jitters crack AC.
Rookie jitters at maybe round 1, but I feel like after the round opener, you're past that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's your rookie season, but after Anaheim, you're no longer it's not your first time anymore. You're like kind of, you know what I mean? So if AC cracks at round 1, that's not fair. If AC has the jitters at round 1 and washes out and screws up, okay. But I would think after round 1, he's over that. The learning curve is still there, but the jitters would be gone. Next thing, what do you say?
Webb's a one-hit wonder.
Okay, see?
Hill buys a new guitar.
I can see that.
Anderson, Osborne, Musquin become sworn enemies.
No, I can't see that at all. That one, you're way off on that. You started strong, ended way off. Next one.
Radical Cam. Who cares? Tickle comes back at Tampa. Hashtag bleep wada.
Bow, chicka, bow, wow. Have to bring that back, Joe.
I know, right?
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
That jingle's been suspended.
Yeah.
For a little bit. We'll make sure we start strong Tampa with the proper sound effects.
That's right.
For our boy Brock Tickle. All right, next one.
Coast Dweller 44. Will Nick Way have AC9 describing his performance through the whoops and rhythm section on the first lap of his first win as if he were on a 500 two-stroke?
I have no idea what that means at all. But again, that's another thing that we should touch on with AC is working with Nick Way. Nick's a really smart guy. I think I've said it before. Sometimes almost a little bit too smart for his own good. There's riders out there that are that way, where they're so technical and they have such a deep understanding of the sport, the bike, everything, that they almost kind of get in their own way because they almost try too much, they think too much, you know what I mean? You get someone like that, though, and then you put them with someone like Adam, where your job is just to make sure you cross the T's, dot the I's for the guy, and really just keep him kind of in line. it's so good. And I know Alden Baker should get all the props he deserves. I mean, Joe, do you realize how many titles in a row Baker has won in Supercross? When I say Baker, I know it's not him. Don't jump me for that. But his riders, Webb, Anderson, Dungey had 3, Villapoto had 4. So what's that? 7, 8, 9. 9 in a row. That's how many championships in the 450 class Alden Baker's riders have been responsible for.
9 in a row?
Straight.
Wow.
4 with Villapoto, 3 with Dungey, Anderson, Webb.
Jeez, man.
So if you're Roxon, Tomac, Cianciarulo, you might have someone that really fits you, whatever. But none of those guys have a Supercross title to their program. And I think that's kind of an interesting dynamic that we forget about, is that 3 of the favorites, Musquin, Anderson, and Webb, are all trained by the same guy. And the other 3 have their own unique programs that are unique. Tomac is with his family and his dad in Colorado. He does his thing. He's always done his thing. He rides in high elevation, which means his bike doesn't feel the same as it does when he goes down to sea level. It is what it is. Over 5,000 feet, you feel it big time. So it means he rides a slow-ass bike at home every day and then goes and races a freaking rocket ship.
When you say, we don't have to get into the weeds on that, but when you say slow-ass bike, how much slower are we talking at elevation?
I forget what, we did it one time on the TV. We actually had someone give us the percentage. I forget what it is, but it's noticeable. I mean, to where like in the 250 class, the triples are hard to make. Like at Salt Lake City, I remember going to Salt Lake, and where you would normally hit a triple, somewhat pinned on a 250, 450, you could kind of just blip it. You got to hit the triples pinned on a 450. It changes it changes everything. The way you have to ride the bike, whatever. And I've always thought that's a unique way of training for your body, but I always thought for a bike it would be horrible. You get used to a bike that's not very fast. It doesn't have much bottom end. You have to hit everything so much faster. Then you go down to sea level and you ride a factory 450 that's got more power than you would ever know what to do with, and you've got to learn how to control that thing. I think it would work great on outdoor Supercross. For me personally, it would be horrible. I remember always coming back from those races, and then my bike felt weird for 20 minutes. Oh my God, big case. 20 minutes to a half hour. Things they feel good, but almost get you in trouble good. Yeah,
I wouldn't want to have to make that adjustment on the fly a day or two before the race or whatever.
How about the day of?
Whatever day you come down from the mountaintop. It's kind of like working at a bank, right? Like I had some chick friends who used to work at a bank, and when they're training, they use real money. So that way, when they get a fake counterfeit bill in the real world situation, they immediately know the difference.
Right.
So they're not having to make an adjustment. They don't train with fake money. They train with real money. It's kind of like I liken it to that, wanting to train with the real shit.
Right. I've heard different theories. People have said, hey, train with a really bad rear tire. So you're sliding out a lot, so you learn how to find traction, and it's more challenging, whatever. And then you get a brand new tire, you're like, oh, it's great. Well, that changes everything.
Yeah, I would want to train as close to the real world situation as possible.
Right. Here's an example for you. When I rode for Geico in 2009, my practice bike was unreal fast. The race bike, though, was way unreal fast. I could noticeably, I'd get on that thing, and it had more than the other bike did. And I liked it. It took me a while to get used to it. Probably the first practice, I would be a little off. By the second practice, it was good. But where I was miserable was that my suspension had 10 to 15 hours on it before I would rebuild it. It was broken in. It felt good. It kind of flexed a little. I would get really comfortable. Then I go to the race, and it's brand new seals, oil, fresh suspension, and it takes about an hour to break that stuff in. Well, that means right at the end of the main event, it finally starts feeling somewhat normal. And I always thought that was just the stupidest thing ever. And then the funny thing is that the final race in Vegas at the shootout, I convinced my mechanic at the time, Brian Kranz, that's Tomac's mechanic, to let me ride my race bike stuff, take it from the shop, stick it on my practice bike, let me go to the Honda track and sneak about a half hour in, break it in. And then he took it off, cleaned it all up nice, and went and put it back on my race bike. That way when I got to Vegas, it was broken in. And I begged him for that, and he did it. And my bike was way better there than it was at any other race, and it was broken in. I felt like I had a little bit of time on it, and I've always thought that that's really stupid how they don't do it that way. And now I know they get a lot more press now than they used to. The riders get press day a lot more often, so they get a chance to break their suspension and get used to that fast for Tomac, get used to a fast 450. But I'm with you. If it's me, if I can make it this way, I want my practice bike to be exactly like my race bike to a T. In fact, I don't even like having two. I always did better when I only had one because I was used to it. I would rather take my practice bike, put a new top end and a clutch in it and new tires, and let me race that than put me on a whole other bike that's supposedly all better that doesn't even feel the same. I've always thought that's, I mean, in my opinion, humble opinion, I think that's one of the stupidest things that these factory teams do is they run brand new suspension to start the weekend. Like the bike can't handle an hour. Give me a break. Like, those things should be a minimum of an hour broken in before you even ride them. That's my opinion. Anyway, I don't know where we went there, but just go to the next one. I don't know what happened there.
Buy Moto Fab. Speaking of Buy Moto Fab, what is a Modesto bomb?
A Modesto bomb?
Yeah, it's like a drink, Modesto bomb. Buy Moto Fab hit me up saying we need to take Modesto bombs.
I don't know.
Buy Moto Fab. Let me know what that is.
Yeah.
He says, Cooper, go ahead. Do you have anything?
Well, I was going to say anything from Modesto is...
He says,
hard
Cooper will...
pass for
yeah, I got you. He actually called him Copper. Copper will own AC mentally 100%. AC will have some good rides, but he seems too nice and not killer instinct. I would compare AC to Pastrana, fast, skilled, up front. But Webb has a more Carmichael mentality now of owning people mentally. He already owns Roxon. Ooh, wait, really? 2020 is going to be great regardless.
He's right about that.
He's right about Webb. 2020, you mean?
About 2020.
Yeah.
There's a lot to that.
Cooper will own AC mentally 100%. AC will have some good rides, but he seems too nice and not killer instinct.
I think the jury's out on that. I don't know if that's fair yet. I can't remember back to a time when I thought AC was being too nice about something.
I think it might be. He seems like a little bit too much of a gentleman rider.
Well, just because of the way he presents himself, the way he talks and on the podium, it doesn't necessarily relate all the way.
I'd like to see some more teeth.
You want him to snarl a little bit more? Again, he hasn't raced a 450 class, and the only race he's done on a 450, he won. And he didn't seem too nice when Tomac was all over him in that final main. He didn't crack. He wasn't nice. I think the jury's out on that. I think you got to wait and see how he does. I mean, Musquin, I can understand getting that label, but AC, I wouldn't let his personality fool you. I think he's very smart off the bike, and I think on the bike, he has a chance to be pretty aggressive. And Pastrana, let me tell you right now, he was super nice. Pastrana, though, at the same time, was gnarly. He would hit people. Volan, Mike Brown, Grant Langston, go ask all of them how nice Pastrana really was with his helmet on. It wasn't that nice. He was nice off the track for sure. Someone could come and break his leg and he'd go over and give him a hug after the race. He was one of the nicest dudes of all time. But on the track, dude, he was wild and not afraid to smash people. So I don't see AC being all the way like that. I see the comparisons in some ways, but not that way.
What
what?
What about Webb being already owning Roxon mentally?
Well, the old Smith & Wesson, that was 1. The Arlington pass across the finish line, that was 2. If you go off of 2019, the only times that they really were ever close, Webb got the better of him both times. In somewhat in-your-face fashion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like Roxon slid out and fell. No, he got him on the last straightaway, gave him the old Smith & Wesson, pointed back at him, and then at Arlington, stole the dude's win literally across the finish line.
Yeah.
So the truth is, if you want to just go off of last year alone, yeah, and that's something Roxon's going to have to overcome. He's going to have to get over that because Webb got the better of him straight up last year. Multiple times in very impactful moments like the last straightaway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to get him with 3 laps to go. You get him on the last straight or within the last 10 seconds twice in one season for a win.
Hurts. Yeah,
that stings a little
for sure.
So he's right on that one, I think, for now. Next one,
Brandon Given. They have a season-long battle for 4th in points. Cooper eventually getting over him. Tomac, Roxon, Anderson wiped the floor with these 2 kids.
Wipe the floor. I mean, again, that goes back to kind of the theme of not much respect for him and going right back to Eli and Kenny, and then he throws Hombre in there. And I'm not going to say you're wrong because this might be one of the most evenly matched, top-heavy favorite fields I've ever seen. I could probably argue for any one of them except for Marv, to be honest. That this could be their year. So I'm not going to say you're wrong, but man, there's a common theme there. People are not giving Webb the backup championship, and I at this point I'm not either, but I don't know why, and it's not for any reason other than I just think it's going to be close. And I think Roczen has a little bit extra. That's all, but seems to be pretty common. Joe, next one.
Tyler Scodra's 546. Cooper Webb repeat champ. If he strives off confidence, AC will be there, but will not have it all 17 rounds.
What do you think about that one?
I think he could.
The whole thing? You
Yeah.
say AC? All 17 rounds? Or
AC will be there, but will not have it all 17 rounds.
will not have it all 17.
Yeah, if he strives off.
See, I'm not worried about the length of the season. I don't think that's an issue. Adam just went, devastating Supercross loss, 24 outdoor motos, and won an outdoor title. I'm not worried about him having the length. And that is a big change. When a rider's a rookie, they go from riding half the series to the full thing. So that does change. And I'd say by April, May, it does probably get a little exhausting. I feel exhausted. By April, I'm pretty burnt, kind of over it, to be honest. Not that you don't show up and still, for those guys and myself, do your best. But by April, you're a little like, man, this plane sucks. Mm-hmm. This airport sucks. This hotel sucks. The stadium sucks. You kind of start losing the juice a little bit. So it's a fair point, but I don't think with who he has around him and at this age and this excitement level, I don't see that being a problem for him. I think he'll be fine for all 17. If anything, I think maybe a lull in the middle would happen. Mm-hmm. Mostly just the back-to-backs. You know what I mean? But I don't think we see him just teeter off late. If anything, I could see some goofy stuff in the middle. Next one.
Dirty Bike says Cooper's calculated aggression and ability to make clutch moves are a force to be reckoned with. Adam is going to be intimidated and overwhelmed by the 450 class. I'm a big fan, but it's going to take a year. There's no way around it. Cooper is a beast.
So there's the other side. That's the Cooper side. Is he wrong? Think about last year. Think about all those nights when he sucked in practice. 8th in times, 6th in times, 9th in times. Heat race doesn't look great either. Uh-oh. Remember we would hype it up a little bit on TV? Uh-oh. And then he'd hole shot and win the main.
What I like about this is he talks about calculated aggression.
Again, Cooper's not See, Anderson, of the two, has had some uncalculated aggression years ago. I haven't seen that out of him in a long time. Anderson, I remember early 450 days was thrashing people, I think, for less of a reason than he has in the last couple. But Cooper, without question, has been very calculated with his aggression. He doesn't do it unless he needs it. You know what I mean? And I feel like he can go there at any time if he wants, but he doesn't. So that's a really good point. Put him down as a potential gift card winner.
Oh, wow.
That's just, he used a big word, and he was right about it.
Dirt E.
Calculated aggression. I like it.
Yeah, his name is Dirt_E-Bike.
All right. So far, unless someone makes me really laugh.
T. Simon 49, Webb wins the war in 2020, but I look for some real fireworks. Webb will start in an effort to start the mind games, but AC will laugh it off with some great post-race press conference comments that keep the tension. 2021, AC wins this war. ET3 for the title.
Wait, what? I thought he said, so Webb wins the war against the two, but Tomac wins it, is what he's saying. He says Tomac wins it, but Webb beats AC the first year. Mm-hmm. And Adam laughs it off with some silly press conference. That's pretty damn spot on. I bet you, I could see that happening. I mean, couldn't you? If Webb goes out and gets aggressive, calculated aggression on him, and somebody asks AC in the press conference what he thinks about it, I could see him being funny about it.
Sure.
Couldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't see him playing into that.
We got different styles, and like you said, I love that line. I race my race, he raced his race.
I could definitely see him having some sort of a one-liner and a little NFG, kind of whatever, I don't care. When probably really would be bent, because dude, at that level, the amount of work you put in, the amount of money you're paid to win, if you get moved physically and lose a race, you're pretty bent. People get surprised when big riders flip out after aggressive racing. It's like, dude, you don't realize how much work these guys put in and how much money's on the line. Someone bumps you, like when Webb knocked Marvin off the track last year at that Triple Crown. Things got. Or actually, here a better example. Remember when Marvin dove in on Eli in that daytime race in Boston and took Tomac out on the last lap? Remember how pissed the Tomacs were and Marvin. Dude, do you realize that was a win? That was a Supercross win. Those don't happen very easily. So when you get one of those ripped out from underneath you, yeah, you're pissed. And again, I could see Adam taking the public approach of, privately though, dude, he'd be mad. Don't kid yourself. Next one.
Baby Duck Ricky Barsha wins the title. Savachi finishes with more points than AC. Plessinger podiums, a mutter, and Ombre looks effing sick as always.
That is... Okay, did he even mention Webb or AC in that? Because I had a direct question.
The only time he mentioned AC was when he said Savachi finishes with more points than AC.
There was a lot to that answer. Let's just move on to the next one. That was somebody has ADHD. Let's just put it that way, because that was way off of what I asked. Next one.
Robbie Gillespie, 91. AC on full blast will leave Coop like the puddle under the car when the AC is on in the middle of summer. Hashtag bring the heat.
Is that ludicrous? Luda, you out there?
Robbie Gillespie's a poet.
Did he say...
I see what he did.
Leave him in a puddle from when you leave the AC on too long? Is that what you said?
Yeah, he did a double entendre there.
Wow.
He's an AC is, two meanings.
Do we put him down as a possibility?
I kind of think so.
That's creative.
Robbie Gillespie, right. 91.
Ludicrous. Possible winner here. Next one.
Tom Presto, AC will start off strong, but Webb will be more consistent late in the year, which will land him higher in the championship at the end of the year. Still got Eli for the championship, though. Predictions for Anstie?
Yeah.
Not sure what his plan is yet, but it looks like he's doing Supercross on a Star Yamaha or HEP Suzuki.
Joe, I'll give you $1,000 right now if you can give me Anstie's first name.
Rob.
No. It's Max. Next one.
Sorry, Max. Hey, 124. Can we talk 250 class? He's asking.
Is that it?
No, there's more, but he's just...
Sure.
He says McAdoo and Hampshire will be so good this year. Top threes, maybe a W or two. Stamp it.
Top threes, maybe top twos. Maybe a W, huh? I wonder why he says that. I'm not going to argue, but... That's a big leap. I guess McAdoo and Hampshire both ended the year out. I think they both were on the podium. So why not? If they end the year on a podium at the showdown in Vegas, East-West, then why wouldn't they be able to do podiums on their coast this year, whichever one? McAdoo's on PC, apparently looking good. Hampshire, both riders are on new bikes. They both love their new bikes. So, yeah, why not? I'm not going to say no. They're probably not in my top 5 favorite list, but at the same time, there's no reason that they couldn't. They ended last year on a podium, so yeah, good. Next one.
Ethan Dean, 19. He says AC straight up beats Webb early and Webb's season goes south. Jason Anderson makes podium every round and wins the title. Kenny a second, Tomac third.
Do you think Webb was better last year than Anderson was 2 years ago? Do you think so?
I would agree with that.
He won more. The argument to that in Anderson's defense is he had a big lead early. He was in defense mode most of the champion. He was up 30 for more than half of it. And when you're up 30, leading your first Supercross championship ever in position to maybe win it, you're not going to race the same. Webb was still having to attack, even though his points lead got up there a little bit too at one point. He was still having to be a little bit more on the aggressive side. He also wasn't going up against he was going up against more guys, which means, you take one night off and kind of cruise around, you're going to get a sixth or so. Anderson, I remember that New Jersey race where Boston race where Musquin took Tomac out. Anderson cruised around that night and got third. he was in a position where he didn't have to go and win. So I don't think it's a fair evaluation. But without question, looking at it kind of from that scope, Webb's was a better season. I'm just curious. I'm just curious how Anderson's going to be this year now that he's not the number one guy again with all that BS he was going through. He had the injury last year too. That was, remember, the one no one knew about. Mm-hmm. I'm really curious of how he's going to be next year. Is he back to 2018 Anderson, who is chasing the championship? I think he will be. It's hard to tell. He left so early last year. I think everyone's a little confused on him. Next one.
Andrew Stevens, 17. So now this is a good example of when you're not a Webby guy, how you see everything he does.
Is this hate?
Andrew Stevens, 17 says Webb and his little man syndrome won't be taking any championships this year.
You go after the height, huh?
His cockiness will get the best of him. AC may not get the title, but he will definitely win some mains. AP 7! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point!
AP 7. Huh. Yeah, just move on. No gift card. Don't go after people's height. Sensitive subject here in the back cave.
Kurt Evans 4T says Joey Savacci. Hashtag brap Joey Savacci gonna spank them both. And he gives a little hand emoji, like spank.
Like a little slap?
Just a little hand up emoji.
So Savacci is gonna spank Webb and Cianciarulo.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that guy's profile. I just want to know if that's Joey's dad or uncle or something.
I don't think so.
Okay, next one.
Jason Manus, 39, AC all day.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. Next one.
Dristel says, I agree with Daniel. There's a dry style.
Dristel.
Yeah.
It's my buddy Andrus. He agrees with me?
He agrees with Daniel.
That's because we hung out Saturday night, so makes sense. He doesn't even know what I'm saying, but he agrees. That's good. Good friend.
CPRU992 says, at Cooper Webb, number 2, all day. AC don't want that smoke.
He tagged Webb?
He did.
Great.
I love it when they do that.
I don't. Anyways, I get weird looks the next week. Luckily, I got a month till. Actually, no, I got to see these guys, actually. I'm going to...
Give them a weird look back.
Oh, I'll tell Cooper. I mean, whatever. Going to SoCal next week. Yeah, next week for Media Day. They have even our TV coach is coming in to do a little bit of a presentation for the riders to just kind of meet with them and kind of, try to elevate the TV broadcast. And part of that is by getting these guys to change some things about their podium interviews. Like, for one, I'm a firm believer and hater of listing your sponsors on the podium. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're trying to figure out ways to stop doing that.
Really?
Well, yeah, it's...
Officially?
They want to. I mean, yeah, they want to, but they just don't know how. How can we get these guys to stop when the teams will come back and say, well, we need to. These teams want their names said on TV. That's how we get money. And the reply back is, show me another high-level sport where these guys in their podium interviews start listing off Toyota of Escondido. Like, how many trucks those people give away to be on every rider's podium interview? Mm-hmm. It's just cheeseball that, I mean, you don't hear LeBron James after a win, hey, great game, LeBron, you had 30 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, you guys got the win, over the Dallas Mavericks. Yeah, I just want to thank Nike. I want to thank, or who's he? Is he with Nike or who's he with?
Yeah, he's with Nike.
I just want to thank Nike.
He'd probably thank China as well.
And thank the country of China. I'd like to thank, and again, go through, his insurance company and, Toyota of Escondido, thanks for the truck. Like, you know what I mean? You don't do that at the high levels. Mm-hmm. It looks amateur and sounds amateur. So if you can find a way to get these guys satisfied and stop doing that, it'd be great, because it's literally one of the stupidest things ever. Anyways, I want to give a huge shout out to Nature's Bakery, Fly Race. Yeah, I like that.
It's different, though.
I know it's different. This isn't a 1-minute podium interview. You just won this Supercross. Oh my God, how are you feeling? And then they read off a pit board all these industry sponsors that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing ever. All right, next one.
3 more. Let's roll.
All right.
Vlog epicness. The only this AC is going to crack is a whip on Webb's ass. And then, of course, he has to say, in a non-sexual way.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah.
He was in line for a gift card till he added that part. All right, next one.
Brick 549. Webb may win some battles, but I got AC to win the war. Off topic, but Daniel Blair 125 main event moto. What are your thoughts on the NFL discussing an 18-week schedule? Will this affect future Supercross scheduling, and how? Sounds more like a main show, Tyler.
Yeah, quickly on that, if that happens, they'll just get rid of 2 preseason games. So the season will start sooner, so it won't go any deeper. The playoffs still start in January. They ain't changing that. So if it changes, it'll be on the front end. And I don't like it. I like it how it is. Leave it alone. Leave it alone, except for get rid of 2 preseason games. You don't need 4. You just need 2.
Agreed.
Stupid. It's like a month of watching.
That's it. You can't say anything else.
All right. Next one.
That's it.
Last one. All right, well, let's take a break. We'll come back, and I'm going to give you a little preview for next week's show. Some cool things you're all going to like. And then I guess we'll pick our winner for our gift card this week, Joe. The motosport.com gift card is between 2. Is that what it is?
That's right.
All right, we'll be right back.
Main event moto.
I hate to say it, but our NorCal Motoheads are pretty spoiled. Why? Well, where do they ride, Joe?
Riverfront, East Street, and Prairie City. And don't ask me who takes care of them trackside and during the week, because it's EMT Racing.
And who takes care of them trackside during the week, Joe?
Really, man? I literally just said EMT Racing. You didn't hear me?
That's right. If you're from Northern California and support Main Event Moto, then spin your laps at Rep Racing Tracks, buy your bikes and parts from Modesto, Honda, Cowie, KTM, and make sure EMT Racing takes care of your trackside and service needs.
Spin your laps at Rep Racing Tracks. I see what you did there. I like that.
If you're from Northern California and you're a true Motohead, then you better get your bike from Honda, Kawasaki, KTM of Modesto. They also got betas, ATVs, and side-by-sides. And if you don't know how to use Google Maps, well then here, I'll help you out. Visit them off of Carpenter Road in Modesto and see their track support parts trailer at all California Central Valley races. Visit www.hkmodesto.com to apply for the rider team, store deals, and upcoming events. And check them out on Instagram at Honda_Cowie_KTM.
Main Event Moto Podcast.
Ooh, wait.
All right. How we picking the winner here? My guy said calculated aggression, which I thought was great. In fact, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to use that this year at Anaheim. So that's my pick. I'm going to steal that line and I'm going to use it.
Okay.
All right. What's the second guy say again?
Second guy said the AC gonna leave him like a puddle of AC.
Oh, and then the AC under the vehicle.
Yeah.
How do you want to pick this?
We're gonna flip the coin. So Dirty Bike said calculated aggression.
Dirty Bike?
And Gillespie said
Dirty Mike and the boys?
AC on AC puddle.
All right.
So let's see. Dirty Bike's gonna be heads.
Okay.
We'll see what happens here. Heads it is.
Heads it is. Dirty Mike and the boys gets the gift card. And, I'm going to steal that line, too. So it's worth it, right? Fair trade?
Hell yeah.
All right, cool. So, Joe, next week's show, going to talk a little bit about a different generation, one that's slightly older than Webb and Cianciarulo. I'm just going to give you a little tease on it, all right?
Okay.
Tomac, Barsha, Anderson, Baggett, Malcolm, Stewart. Those 5 guys were around each other a lot in their amateur career. Anderson would kind of be a little younger than the Tomac, Barsha, Baggett year. He would fall. He was like AC was to Webb. Like 1 year back would be with them, but then kind of was not with them. A little bit back and forth. There was multiple times, though, at Loretta Lynn's, if you go back in the results, where you will see a Tomac, Anderson, Baggett 1, 2, 3 podium, which I find crazy because we've probably, between indoor and outdoor, I'd say at least 3 times that I can remember, we've seen that exact same podium in the even order. I forget which one it was. It was like Tennessee outdoor 1 year. I remember watching it. Was those 3. It was like Tomac, Baggett, Anderson, 1, 2, 3. And there's actually Loretta Lynn's results of them like when they were 12, 1, 2, 3, which I think is cool. And now those guys, again, they don't have as much beef. I know Anderson and Baggett, they had some for a little while. Maybe they still do, but just haven't seen it in a while. But there's a little bit there between those two. I don't see how these guys liked Barsha. I would assume Barsha would have been pretty wild and aggressive back then too. So I don't know if there's some I'll have to do my digging on these guys, this generation. But I'll give you their Loretta Lynn's results right now. Which one of them do you think won the most?
Ooh. I'm going to say Barsha.
Barsha, surprisingly, was there the least of any of them. He missed years. He must have had injuries. Started a little bit later. He won 4 Loretta Lynn's amateur championships. So no. The winner, the guy with the most has 8. Try again.
Baggett.
No, 2.
Anderson.
5.
Damn.
9 podiums for Anderson, though. Bunch of seconds and thirds, but 5 wins.
Who was the other guy?
Tomac and Malcolm Stewart.
Oh, yeah, Tomac and Malcolm Stewart. All right, well, obviously Tomac then.
Okay. Tomac has 8.
Yeah.
And he won his last 6. So his last 3 years, check this out. In 2017, he wins the 85 modified 14 to 15 and the Super Mini class. The next year, he comes back and wins both Super Mini classes. The next year, he comes back and wins the 250B modified and the schoolboy. And then that's it. Doesn't go back. Won the last 6 titles that he had at Loretta's. And then Malcolm, 0. 4 top 5s in 10 years. So a decade of racing amateurs, and Malcolm only had 4 top 5s and never had a win. Which is crazy because he's so freaking good. You would think that he would have won a bunch, right?
Yeah.
The story with him, though, is always those years. We all kind of just knew Malcolm was a little brother who didn't care as much. He was probably more like my son, where he would miss his moto because he's playing in the dirt. Like, Evan, I literally have to go find him right before his moto half the time to let him know his gate. Go pick your gate. You're on the line. Oh, while he's like digging a hole somewhere. I think that's what Malcolm was doing a lot back then. But anyway, so next week I'm going to go over those 5 guys and just the years they matched up and which ones beat which ones on certain years, and kind of do the same thing as today's. So should be pretty fun. Anyways, good show. Huge shout out to Nature's Bakery, Fly Racing, Skivvy Underwears, Mika Metals, Scott USA, No Toil, Honda Cowie, KTM of Modesto, Guts Racing, EMT Racing, Key Bar, Rep Racing, and Motosport.com. Joe, thanks for doing the show.
Yeah.
And we will press stop, and then we will press record, and we will record a couple episodes of the other show. Sound fun?
Yeah.
All right, later.
Main event, Moto. Screw it. You know it by now.